2, and we're on. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Black Witch Chronicles. Welcome on this beautiful full moon happening. A lot of energy going on. Tisha Harris, the founder of Black Witch Chronicles. So,
hi all. Deja Simone of The Deja Speaks. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. It's a pleasure to be back with my sisters and be sharing space and community with all of you.
Yes, welcome back everybody. It's Lorena Elizabeth from Eye of Destiny. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited about our topic. I'm excited to share and learn with you and to build.
Hello.
And joining us today is the fourth witch that's been in the background for far too long. Some of y'all, she needs no introductions because she's been online working her magic for quite a long time. Today we have Toni, who is one of my sisters that has been helping to build Black Witch University. Introduce.
Hello. My name is Toni Milburn. I'm with Ebony Sage, and I am so looking forward to today's topic on all the abundance that we need to bring into ourselves and get out of our own ways. And so with this full moon and all this beauty that I have on here with me, this is going to be a lovely afternoon.
Yes. And today's topic is get your money right, money man. Toni and I were talking beforehand. I'm hearing some feedback from somebody. Gone. Okay.
Try it again.
So Toni and I was talking beforehand about the topic of money manifestation. And so many of us come to money manifestation that we write ourselves a check, don't really believe that we can manifest that check, that my mama used to say, your ass can't cash, and not believe that we're writing it for. While we're writing these checks that our ass can't cash, and clearly we don't have any money, enough money in the bank to cover it, we're trying to manifest money from a heart space and a mind space of lack. And with that in mind, we set an intention that we really don't believe is going to show up for us. Inasmuch, Toni is a financial counselor as well as a credit counselor, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does, and we're going to go into money manifestation. Really, anything that you want manifestation. The power is in all of us, and we have the ability to change our perspectives, our minds, and our outlook, our financial outlook. So Toni, tell us a little bit about how you got into financial counseling and as well as credit counseling.
Okay. I got into this because my husband and I were looking to buy a house, and when we went for pre-approval, we found out that our credit scores were not good enough to get pre-approval due to some medical bills that were on our credit. And so I started looking into how all of this was affecting everything that I did. And the more I researched, the more appalled I became at how many barriers are there, especially within the Black community. So I took it upon myself to get together with a company that specializes in credit repair and financial education because I wanted to bring it to our community. But then I started thinking a little bit further about it, and I'm thinking, okay, it's got to be bigger than just me. It's got to be bigger than one or two people that I might reach out to. It needs to be across the board. And in our community, we have this mentality that we don't deserve wealth. We don't deserve abundance. And it doesn't matter how many checks we write at the new moon for abundance. If you don't believe that you deserve it, you're not going to get it. So we keep getting in our way. But by getting in our way, it's simply a matter of, are you doing what you need to do to open the doors for that abundance to come in? Or are you just writing that check and then sitting back and waiting for all of these things to transpire without doing anything on your own part? The ancestors don't work that way. We know this. The universe does not work that way. We know this too. So when they give us opportunities to step in and look at our credit and fix it, or step in and look at multiple streams of income, we have to take advantage of those. We have to stop thinking we're not good enough or we're not able to receive those things. I know everybody on this panel knows about Black Wall Street. We've been there. We've done that already. So there's no reason why we can't do it again. And with the evolution and revolution that's going on within the Black community, that is being spearheaded by the Black spiritualists coming through and saying, we need to fix this, this, and this. The one subject we haven't touched on is our money. So I'm here to change that.
Okay. I will put a question, Lorena.
If I may, I really love how you touched on how, like, having a bad credit score and not necessarily being aware of it or not knowing it until you try to make a move in your life, until you try to improve your circumstance, especially when it's you and your family, you and the people that you love the most, how it just affects so much else. And I'd love, like, for you to just touch on the different ways that it played out and the things that perhaps shocked you or things you weren't aware of. I didn't know this even affected it or it played into it. Oh, wait, you're on mute.
Yeah, I was.
There we go. Sorry, guys. I can touch on that.
I wanted to add to that. I think sometimes people are, afraid or intimidated and get confused. And so they just avoid, and, are not looking into things and are just assuming the worst, So it's very, very important to check up on your credit. And if you don't understand, that's where someone like Toni comes in, okay? From A to Z, she's there to teach you not only what everything means, but how you can get it to where you want it to be and how you can keep it there.
Well, I'm going to touch on what Deja brought up first. A lot of us don't realize, number one, that credit doesn't just affect whether or not you can buy something. It affects what your car insurance is going to cost you. It affects what your homeowner's insurance is going to cost you. For many people, it will affect whether they can get a job or not, because a lot of employers are pulling credit reports and figuring if you can't handle your own finances, how are you going to be responsible enough to take this job that they have available that they want to pay you for? The conundrum that this creates, though, is if your credit is bad and you can't get a job to make the money to fix the bills, to pay those bills and fix the credit, you're just going in a vicious circle. So at some point in time, you have to step in and put a stop to it. That's just part of it. A lot of people also don't realize that the credit bureaus are not federal agencies. These are private owned companies, and they don't get paid to make sure your credit is accurate. They don't care. They get paid when somebody orders your credit report. So they basically get paid to sell your information. But when you are dealing with obsolete information, when you're dealing with incorrect information, when you're dealing with someone has taken your identity and created all of these different situations for yourself, you don't even know they're out there. And as Lorena said, a lot of us get where we stick our head in the sand and we just assume the worst. And you've never been approved for anything without a super high interest rate, so why bother? but do you even know what's on there or why it's that way? If you don't know what's on there, you can't fix it.
Touch on, go back a little bit, because I was wondering if you could touch on the fact that these are private companies, first and foremost.
Oh, yes, I can. This one irritated me to no end. One company that is owned by Goldman Sachs. And if you're not familiar with who Goldman Sachs is, they are the largest investment bank in our country. That's first. Wow. The second one, by private owners in Dublin, Ireland. So we got people who aren't even Americans telling Americans that they can't afford to buy a house or they aren't worthy to buy that car. I'm sorry, I totally disagree with that. These are private, are not a government agency. The only thing regulating them is the Fair Credit Reporting Act of 1971. That's the only thing that keeps them in check.
Wow.
And if you don't know what you need to do to take care of your credit, they're definitely not going to do it. So they are only in it for the money. It is a business. That is all it is. It is one of the largest businesses in our country, and how we came to depend on these 3 different bureaus to run our lives is beyond me, and probably one of the things that burns me up the most. Excuse me, but who the hell are they to tell me if I can afford this house, or if I can get, or whether I have enough education and enough experience to work this job? Who are you? You don't know me. You don't know me. Yet they have the right to do that because we've done it. We've given it to them. So they've gotten to be these big conglomerates that control so much of our daily lives, and we don't realize it. It's just another form of slavery. Debt is quite literally another form of slavery.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so when we are manifesting from a place of fear, leveraging our power and existence to them.
I only heard part of what you said. I'm sorry.
Manifesting from a place of fear, we're leveraging our power and handing it over to them. So if we fear a private company, like for instance, if you go into a place of business and you're not happy with that place of business, right? Or the way that they're doing things, you ask to talk to the manager, you ask to talk to this or that person until you get the desired result for you. If you go out for a steak and they cook it well done and you wanted yours medium, you're not going to accept that steak. So why are you sitting and accepting the financial outcome companies that are essentially paying to serve us?
I personally believe that comes from, and I'm going to go back to Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street was destroyed and burned down to the ground, not once, but twice. And after the second time, it wasn't rebuilt in a way by us. At that point, we basically took on this "we can't do anything about it" attitude. And that attitude has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. And so we're dealing with what I call generational debt and generational. Don't take on. It's hard for us to come back when our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents have all told us, get a job, get a house, pay your bills on time. Yeah. You don't have anyone there saying you can do so much more than that.
Yeah.
And that's because fear is there, and we've allowed that fear to come in and take over.
Yeah.
And that with the revolution that is going on with us right now, we have to take control of our finances. We have no leverage. Our children and our children's children have no leverage if we don't build. And generational wealth does not mean I've got $10,000 or $15,000, $20,000 in the bank. It means I own this property, I own that property, I've got income coming from this source, I've got residual income coming from over here. You have to have more than just, and it all starts with credit. You can use your credit to get more money, to leverage, to build wealth. But if you are being denied credit because of past mistakes, or just because of the color of your skin, and we already know that that happens way too often, you have to do something about it. And it's up to you to do something about it. It has to start with us.
Now there are those, and I'm gonna get in deep here. There are those that will say to work with the system is a form of adhering to colonization, right? We're adhering to colonial patterns and capitalism, and those radical who don't want to engage in the system at all. What do you say to those people?
Well, you can't live here and not engage. You can't be in this country and not participate. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. We're here and we're not going anywhere. And I don't care how many people come up to us and tell us to go back to Africa. I don't know about y'all, but I was born right here in Southern Mississippi. So this is where I'm from. And if I don't learn how to play the game by the rules that they put there, and then learn those rules even better, and learn to use them for my advantage the way they use them for their advantage, I'm not going to get anywhere. I'm not going to get anywhere.
And we're going to always be on the bottom. I mean, we're going to always...
You just stay there. At the bottom. And that's what they expect. They expect us not to educate ourselves. They expect us not to take a stand and say, we need to do better as a people. And it's not even just a black and white thing. It is a rich and poor. It is a middle class and a 1%. You have your 99% and not 1%. And unfortunately, what a lot of us deal with is the 99%. It really doesn't matter the color of your skin. If you were not born in a situation where you have money, generational wealth that you can use to go to school, that you can use to build a business, you're kind of screwed. So, and that means we have to take responsibility. That means we need to go to black banks. We need to go to black businesses. We need to do things to build up those businesses out there to help our communities grow. We can't do that if we stick our head in the sand. We just can't. And too many of us are hiding. We're just hiding from the whole concept of finances.
Absolutely, absolutely. Keisha, I would add to your point about, but you know, like if we act within the system, we're like colluding with it. I would add to the point, my stance on that is always, I can't be the martyr for that. The people at the bottom cannot be the martyrs for the system needs to stop with us.
Exactly.
We can't be when money stops being handed out because the money is wrong. We can't be when we stop getting bailouts because it's like morally corrupt. Like, absolutely not. If that's going to start, then it's got to start at the top and trickle down. I'm already the lowest on the totem pole. I move myself out of it. I'm just excluding myself from the system. And definitely, I do believe that the same philosophies and practices that make a financial institution strong are what Black people, Black femmes, and Black mothers and communities have been using to fund each other since the beginning anyway. We already do this kind of stuff when we're having trunk parties to send children out to college because we know we don't have generational wealth to rely on. When we're using our credit unions, when we're building strategies of how can I use a cash advance to make sure I keep my house and my child stays in school and is fed, that's us using financial systems and financial tools. It's just that I really appreciate what Toni's talking about and the idea of a revolution, of us standing up and saying, we're going to take those same strategies and make them even further spread. We're going to use them even more. We're going to apply them within that system, not just to kind of find a way around it.
We have to find a way to teach people that it's okay to think that way, though. We have too many folks who are timid when it comes to their money, who are scared if they speak up, they're going to lose their job or they're going to have some kind of retaliation against them.
Yeah.
We have to stand together against all of that. We can't do that. There has to be education. And unfortunately, a lot of the fear that's going on in